Hello and welcome back to the Dugout podcast. This is episode number 51. I'm your host, Alexander Cruikshanks. Today I'm just joined by Ethan Barlow to talk about all things Scottish football that has been happening. There's been a couple of transfers, nothing super major going on right now, although we've had a few fascinating developments in the Club World Cup, some upsets as well. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. But we're going to focus on the Scottish stuff first. But first of all, Ethan, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. It's been quite a quiet week in Scottish football, but we're always going to get these periods throughout the summer. And well, I mean, it seems like the new season's officially started with most of the clubs in the Premiership already having played some friendlies.
Yeah, definitely. Apparently Rangers played a closed door friendly against the new Saints and they got beat, so it's not looking good. But their first real ones, I think, is at Ibrox this weekend coming against Club Brugge. So that should be interesting to see if Russell Martin's got this stamp down yet. But there's quite since I've kind of brought us to Rangers. I think we should talk about there's a few rumours about incomings, and there's a few big exit rumours that have been flying about with Rangers. You know, especially around their three main sellable assets. I would say the Nico Raskin rumours have died down slightly. However, I'll start with one first that apparently it's been agreed already. Uh, Apparently, Rangers have agreed a deal for Hamza Igaman to go to Lille to replace the outgoing Jonathan David. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm a bit,
Sorry, I was.
I'm a bit shocked by that.
Yeah. I think the sort of money that was getting quoted. We obviously don't know the exact figures and whatnot, but that money for a player that hasn't. Yes, I think we spoke about this before. He's got undeniable talent, and at moments of the season, he was Rangers' best player in games. For that little stretch that he had where he broke into the team and he scored almost every game. But for a lot of the season, being the number two striker to Cyril Dessers, the money that Rangers are getting for him, compared to the money Rangers paid for him just that summer there, it's brilliant business. And when you're looking to fund a rebuild, you can't really go wrong with selling a player like that. And yeah, it'll just be interesting. If he does go, it'll be interesting to see how his career goes. Obviously, it doesn't really matter to Rangers when the money's in Rangers' pocket, but I think it always sort of it can go either one or two ways. You want the player to go on and smash it at the top level, or you think, oh, well, if he does rubbish, then we done well getting that amount of money for him, kind of thing. But yeah, I think it's a good place that Rangers are in with him and Nicholas Raskin especially.
Yeah. I think the reported fee was around £15 million. ASFAR, his club in Morocco, will get 30% of that. I believe that was the deal agreed at the time. So if I do my quick maths for a minute now, so Rangers paid about 1 million for him, and then 10% of 15 is 1.5 times it by three, 4.5. So Rangers would get 10.5 million for a player that they paid about 1 million for about a year ago. So, and it's a nice windfall for ASFAR as well. Um, Obviously, I'm not speaking with a lot of knowledge here, but I'd wager that there's not a lot of money in the Moroccan Premier League. So good for them as well. No, but I'd agree with that, Ethan. The sentiment of a player that I feel like he really could go and smash it. I don't know if this is maybe a year too soon for him, but like you said, you do get attached to players, but I think kind of the point is at the end of the day, this sale would benefit Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just trying to get it up at the moment. The sort of transfer records in the Scottish Premiership, players that went for about £15 million and more. And well, it says here on Transfermarkt, which isn't always reliable, that there's 10 players. Those players are Van Dijk, Ayer, uh, Edward. Uh, oh no, wait, this must be signings actually. No, it can't be signings. I don't think it might be sales and signings. But O'Reilly, Jota, Tierney, Bassey, Moussa Dembele, Odsonne Edouard, Christopher Ayer, Virgil van Dijk. This is all players that played integral parts in their teams. Hamza Agaman, yes, you can see the qualities there, but for the money Rangers are getting for him, it becomes to the point where, right, there's no denying that he can go to the top, as we said, but the money's there and you've got to take it because Rangers have made that mistake in the past.
Yeah, definitely. I think as a support base as well, I think we've got to that point where if this kind of money's coming in for players, we just want to take it, and buy the next few guys, and just keep going because the Celtic have done that, and they've you were reading out the list there, one Rangers player in that list, so I think that Celtic have kind of shown that that model can work. It's sell when their stock's high, bring in other guys to replace them, sell them when their stock's high, So I think it is a good deal. Um, one little thing that I wanted to address that I've kind of seen floating about, and I've never really seen like an actual concrete report on it, because so I'm a little bit confused about this. Because obviously Malik Tillman looks like he's joining Bayer Leverkusen, and there's been a lot of reports saying Rangers get 10% of that fee because they agreed a thing with Bayern. But he was a PSV player, so I don't understand how Rangers could be getting it if Rangers had already got money from that, or you know what I mean. I've not been able to find an actual like legit report saying what the deal is. I don't know if you've seen anything, Ethan.
No, I've definitely seen those suggestions that you're making. Some of the contracts for players and agreements between clubs just get more and more ridiculous. I don't know if any of the viewers have seen, or yourself, Alex, have seen the contract Nico Paz is under at Como, after leaving Real Madrid. It's something like, they can buy him back for €7 million in the first season, the second season €8 million, then €9 million, then €10 million. If he becomes a world class player, which he always, I don't know if any of his the viewers watch the Serie A, but he's a real talent, and Real Madrid could buy him back for pennies, and what compared to what the rest of the teams could buy him back for. So, but you're talking about like a sort of chain through clubs, because as you said, Bayern Munich then went on to sell him to PSV, who have then going to go and sell him again. So yeah, I don't know. There could be something in there for Rangers, definitely, but yeah, it's one that you'd need to take with a pinch of salt, definitely.
Yeah. Sort of moving on from that kind of strange thing, another sort of exit that we've not really seen a lot of rumours around, but apparently there has been a bid in the region of 8.5 to 10.3 million pounds from Besiktas for Mohamed Diamande. Um, this is one that I'm not so sure about. I feel like um, he would have been the one that I would have been most likely to want to sell out of the three that Rangers probably could have sold. However, I've always been of the thinking of, if we sell one of them, I think we should try and hold on to the rest of them, because as much as you want to take your chance and get your money, you don't want to decimate your squad with, especially in a rebuild. You need some of your best players still to be there, and I don't think there's any denying. I feel like he quietly kind of has just solidified himself as one of the top midfielders in the league now. You don't really see people, you know, ripping into Mohamed Diamande. He just kind of goes about, does what he does, and he's definitely got a talent as well. In terms of the money that's been reported, I think Rangers paid around 4 million for him, so it would still be a profit. However, I feel like maybe with another season they could get a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not really the profit that you look for when you sign a kind of player like Diamande for 4 million, and then after well, it
Year and a
was
half.
yeah, a year and a half, so not long at all. And as you said, he's played an integral role in Rangers last season. And there is a case where you sell too many players, and then you're bringing in a whole new team that need to gel, and not just the manager needs to gel with them. So I don't think Diamande, the offers are going to be there where it's undeniable that Rangers need to sell him. I think he's a player that he's not going to be valued much. Well, obviously doubles quite a lot, but 4 5 million isn't a lot when you could, as you said, you could maybe double your profit next season. So yeah, I think Rangers' best move would to be to hold on to Diamande, especially if they're selling Raskin and Igaman and maybe even Cyril Dessers as well.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, I realise we're taking a little bit, quite a bit of time up on Rangers, but there are a good few things to go through. So I'll just kind of quick fire the three sort of incoming rumours. So talks about Jamie Vardy are reappearing again. Apparently, Rangers have made him a target. Connor Cody has returned to pre-season training, despite the fact that there apparently the talks are in an advanced stage for him to come to Ibrox. A new one, Samuel Bally, I can't Bally or Bowley, can't really remember, was on loan at Zurich last season from Como. Zurich want him back. However, um, apparently Rangers, Norwich City, and Trabzonspor are all in concrete talks for the winger. And apparently Rangers have been interested in 22-year-old Brazilian midfielder Metinho, who was on loan at Basel. Basel want him back, but Rangers are trying to beat him to the signature. And he's from Troyes, who I think are part of the City group. So, yeah, those are kind of the quick fires. Ethan, is there any particular one you want to latch onto there?
No, they're all sort of kind of players that you're getting from the sort of leagues that are going to be, I don't know, how could I say this? The leagues that Celtic and Rangers should be shopping in, those sort of markets, so the similar league level where you're not going into. I know you mentioned a Como player there as well, but um, they're not Celtic and Rangers can't go into the big leagues and demand to buy big teams key players. So it's a good approach that Rangers are taking, and I don't know if we mentioned it on last week's podcast, but I don't know if the Max Aarons signing was actually confirmed. Obviously, it has been now. Um, and yeah, we heard about that one for a while. It's the same with most clubs nowadays, especially Celtic and Rangers in Scotland. You hear about the signing for weeks before it actually is confirmed by the club. And I'm sure that's the story when we'll get onto Celtic and talk about their new signings as well.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I feel like as well, just off the basis of these kind of rumours, it looks like he's going. The Rangers are going for a healthy mix of experience with the likes of Connor Cody, maybe even Jamie Vardy. But then you look at the other two guys, 22 and 24. So they're trying to mix their business and get a decent balance in there.
Yeah, and a few people maybe sort of turn their nose up at players like Connor Cody and Jamie Vardy, but you remember Ange Postecoglou, his recruitment, although it was a lot of young, sort of un sort of proven at maybe the Scottish Premiership level, you could say. He did, of course, bring in McCarthy and Joe Hart. One of them worked. Well, that one of them didn't
Aaron
work
Moy,
at all, but one of them,
Aaron Moy as well.
Aaron Moy was a good another good signing. So you've got to mix it up, and if the players are there, like Connor Cody and Jamie Vardy probably are, then they're definitely decent bits of business that should be considered.
Yeah, I think we'll move on to Celtic now. We're speaking about a deal we've known about for a while that finally got over the line and officially confirmed. Benjamin Nygren or Nygren, not 100% sure on how you pronounce it, has signed for Celtic. I think the reported fee was around £1.28 million. It's very specific, but that's what I read. And comes in from Nordsjælland. He had 6 months left on his deal, but clearly Celtic wanted to get him in and pay the fee to get it over the line.
Yeah, definitely, and it's one that seems like a really good bit of business because he does look like a player that has shown promise already in the Danish league and for the national team. And I can't say I've seen much of the player, but I think the fact that he's getting into that Swedish national team and playing with some of the attacking options that they actually have is probably shown that he is doing something right. And yeah, a really exciting signing for Celtic. It'll be interesting to see where he sort of fits in because he's played in midfield, he's played on the wing, so you have to see what Celtic do. I think Celtic probably just need one more attacking option, and then I think Celtic will probably look more defensively. They're obviously linked with Inamura, the Japanese left-sided defender who can play at left back and centre back. Reports out of Japan are suggesting that's a done deal, so he
Yeah,
might
well,
be Kieran Tierney's backup.
his club have already confirmed that he's left, and he's
Yeah,
actually apologised to the club and the supporters for leaving them at this stage. And I think in a statement, one of the like officials at the club said he's gone because of interest from Europe or something like that. And reports are saying that he's actually travelling to Glasgow to complete his medical and finalise the paperwork. So it looks like it's a done deal for Hayato and Amira.
yeah, and it's one that I said when it first got sort of rumoured that I thought was a little bit of a strange signing. We'll have to see. Celtic are obviously pretty confident on them. And it's you'd imagine he is going to be Keenan Tierney's backup because you've still got Austin Trusty and Liam Scales there, and you don't imagine Inamura, based off what we've seen from him, is going to be able to sort of get in ahead of them. But maybe he is just a player that the Celtic scouting team really likes and they want to have, and maybe they loan him out, or he's just an asset that they want to have. The other signing that we knew about for ages that Celtic confirmed, I think it was yesterday, was Callum Osmond, the young striker from Fulham, 19-year-old Welshman, played a lot for the Fulham Academy in the Premier League too. So we'll have to see what he's going to be like because the Premier League too, I think we discussed, you could be getting a player that's going on to be a future star, or you could get a player that's not going on to do anything. I believe, I'm going to guess this is his first professional contract, considering he turned a new contract down at Fulham. So yeah, it's an interesting one. He's the type of striker based off looking at his stature and what he said in his interview that he's that sort of small, fast striker that's going to make the runs in behind, which I think is what Celtic need to complement Adam Idah because he's obviously very different to that. But I think if Celtic get one more new attacker in, and I think it'll probably be Mikael Ange Balikwisha because Celtic have been linked with him for quite a while now. So I think once Celtic get that one over the line, then they'll be looking more at maybe a defensive midfielder and some more defenders.
I did read a report today though. It might have been, I can't remember if it was a quote from the manager or the owner of Antwerp, but it was somebody from that club saying they were determined to keep him, despite all the interest that had been going around. So maybe there'll be a bumper contract offer for him that'll keep him at Antwerp, but you never know. But the lure of joining Celtic is definitely there for pretty much every player who hasn't made it to that next step. You know, you get to play for a massive club and you get the chance to put yourself in the shop window for the Premier League, which, you know, especially over the past few years with Celtics, it's been proven and that you can make that jump.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I think the talk with or Mikel Ange we shut at the start of the window was that Antwerp needed to sell. He wanted the move, but obviously I think he ended the season really well after his time not really going too well there with injuries. So maybe, as you said, they want to hold on to him, or they're going to make it a little bit more difficult for Celtic to acquire him. I think the price being thrown about was around 5 million. The only thing that I'm thinking with Celtic signings, they've obviously brought four players in, but I doubt they've spent much more than £2 million. So a lot of Celtic fans will be expecting um, more money to be spent in preparation for the Champions League qualifiers coming up.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
only other, the only other sort of news at Celtic, not transfer related, was that Sean Maloney appointed as the club's new professional player pathway manager, they're calling it. I thought that was quite interesting. He was obviously linked with the Dundee and Motherwell jobs, but that's what he's in for. Obviously, a Celtic youth graduate himself, so it kind of fits. But yeah, a bit of a strange one.
Definitely, definitely a strange one. I remember when I was reading that title, I'm like, what even is that? And then the rest of the thing was he will be focusing on youth development, and well, you know, cheers, thanks for that. Um, Professional player pathway manager.
To
Just
move on.
just try to make it sound like official, whatever a professional player pathway manager does. But yeah, but I think that's the rumours for the main for the big two. So a couple of clubs have brought in some people. Dundee made another signing the other day. Um, oh gosh, what is it? Jovan or Jovan is
Uh, Yogain, I think it is. Only
Jovan.
or Yogan, I'm not sure, but yeah, season long loan from Brentford. Um, he spent last season on loan at a League Two club. I'm pretty sure that the name's escaping me at the moment. Um, he made an appearance for Brentford last season in the League Cup. Off the bench, he played about 4 minutes. So we'll have to see what happens there with that signing for Dundee. But they're going to have to bring in a lot more because they've obviously lost quite a lot as well. And they signed a defender as well, a centre half from a Bulgarian centre half from the Israeli league. Yeah. What other news was there with Dundee? Oh yeah, they've made Simon Murray their new club captain. And
Uh,
I think they beat Arbroath 2-0 in a friendly. So that's all the news I've got here for Dundee.
yeah. There's not
Um,
been many more Kelly stuff except for the fact that I'd seen their friendly the other day. They had a listed trialist in goals, which appears to be Max Striek. So it looks like it could be him coming in for the Kelly goalkeeping position to sort of compete with Robbie McCrory or play over him when he's injured all the time. But yeah, that's Kelly have kind of quieted down after their signing spree. Trying to think of
Habs have probably had the best week.
yeah,
They did,
recent Rocky Bashiri. They brought in Josh Mulligan.
yeah. Josh Mulligan, I think, is an excellent sign. I mean, he was linked with Rangers, so the fact that Habs have been able to get him shows probably how good a signing that is. A 4 year deal as well. Very versatile player as well for David Gray. So yeah, and then they did let two players go. Nathan Mariah Welsh has joined Mansfield Town, and Tavares has left Hibs by mutual consent. But a pretty solid week for Hibs. Dundee United made a couple of signings. That Ukrainian goalkeeper, I think you might have mentioned him a few weeks ago, but they did get that over the line.
You've
Um,
Ivan Kucharenko.
Yeah, that's the one. And then they signed a Dutch central defender, Bert Esselink. They also played a friendly as well. They beat Beacon City 3-0.
I've not been on point on the TikToks at all recently. You're naming all these guys. I'm like, oh, I've missed so many signings.
Well, it is a lot. It is a lot to get in. What? a minute and a half or whatever.
I try.
Uh,
I've been trying to keep them shorter because there were a couple that were like 3 minute long videos. I'm like nobody's watching that. Uh,
yeah,
so I think now what I kind of try to do is keep it under 2 minutes.
yeah,
Um,
2 minutes is a
yeah,
good aim.
but
Um,
sorry.
no, I was just gonna run through the clubs. Aberdeen. The only really thing is that their chairman Dave Cormack, and the fellow director Tom Crotty, have secured further investment into Aberdeen. So I think Aberdeen, you would say, probably the third richest club in Scotland,
Yeah,
possibly. And yeah,
Dave Cormack.
widening that gap.
Dave Cormack said that he expects three or four new faces in the door as well coming
Yeah,
into
I've seen that.
the Don squad. So exciting times for Aberdeen fans because they've already made a couple of good signings.
Yeah. Um, and then St Mirren, Owen Aseni's left to go to Plymouth Argyle. They've got Ryan Mullen signed from Greenock Morton in goals because I think it was pretty obvious they weren't going to get. It was made pretty obvious by Middlesbrough that they weren't going to get Zach Hemming back.
Zach,
St Mirren played.
Zach Kemen's gone somewhere else, I think. Hmm.
I haven't seen that, but I did know that he wasn't going back to St Mirren anyway. St Mirren started off their season well or pre-season well. They beat Dumbarton 4-0. Um, Adowu was the star of the show. I don't know if you've seen his piece of skill to beat the Dumbarton fullback. It was pretty good. Hearts
Who
only
what did Adowu like blow by trialist and smash it in the net past trialist and
probably based off the Barton team sheet. The only Hearts news is that Anne Budge has obviously announced that she's going to be stepping down as a roller chair following the AGM, which I believe is in December of this year. So she's obviously been at Hearts for a while now. So that's big news for Hearts. But the only really real news, Motherwell, there's not much happening. Kilmarnock, the same. Um, Dundee have covered already. Falkirk have played a couple of friendlies. They beat Stenhousemuir 3-1 in the Stirlingshire Cup. Then they lost 3-2 to Edinburgh City. They were 3-0 down after half an hour. Um, then for Livingston have actually kept up. They're still doing quite a lot. They've signed German winger Yannick Wana from SKU
I think it's
Amstead.
Banner. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, probably as Yannick. Yeah, Yannick Wana. Yeah, you're right. Um, SKU Amstetten. And then they've re-signed Danny Wilson as well because I think he was out of contract. They've brought Macaulay Tate back on loan again from Hearts. And then I don't know if you've seen Brian Rice is the new head of football operations. He was obviously there last season anyway, but the interesting one is that Big Marvin Bartley's back at
yeah, I
Livingston
saw that. Yeah,
as a first team coach, which is quite a flash from the past, you could say, or
who
that's not the right saying.
lost from the past,
Flash from the past, yeah, mixing up sayings there.
and he's been.
I think that's everything.
I definitely is interesting because he tried his hand at management, and he wasn't the best. So I don't know. Maybe he's going back to learn under the master some more, try and hone his craft before he tries again. Or maybe he's looking to be next in line for the Livy throne. You know,
Yeah, well, that's when that's I mean that wouldn't be a position I'd want to be in, waiting for David Martindale to leave Livingston. I
yeah,
think,
when he leaves in about 20 years or something.
yeah, probably. Who was it Marvin Bartley managed? Was it Queen of the South he was at? And he
Yeah,
was having a go at the players for, what was it, playing their PlayStations at night?
yeah, he got really mad about it. But I feel like though that's kind of it for today. Quite a brief episode, but not too much to talk about. Ethan, I need to go and teach Ethan how to edit the TikToks because he'll be taking over because I am on holiday this week. So you won't see my stupid face for a while. You'll be seeing Ethan's beautiful face. But yeah, that's the end of today's episode. Thank you to everyone for watching and listening. Make sure to go check out the TikTok where Ethan will be delivering the news. Go check out the Twitter. Ethan will be working double time. He does a lot of work on there as well. And go and check out. Oh no, we only have two things. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you and goodbye.